just need to pack this light stand away before I get started. Light stand, ASMR. It was so I could like pull focus in that. Sorry, just really disturbing. It's actually quite hard packing a light stand away with one hand. I actually don't even know if I'm on the monitor. That's probably something I should check. Hi, I'm Sam Ebden. I'm a director / cinematographer, and welcome back. It's been a little while, but we're here to talk about lenses today, and most importantly, my set of Nikkor Cine rehouse lenses. We're going to go into the bare bones of it really quickly, and I'll just talk about kind of why they're rehoused and who did them and all that sort of stuff, and then we'll go into the look and feel and imagery, because realistically that's what we're all interested in. And pre-warning, these aren't clinical lenses. Go and buy some Zeiss's or Sigmas, whatever is the sharper ultimatum that you want to choose, because these aren't for that. They're beautiful lenses, they've got great character, and that's what I care about, and that's what I find the most important. They are rehoused by somebody called Cinehousing, or Mihai. He owns the company, and he basically takes your vintage lenses and rehouses them. So for instance, here next to me, you probably won't get a close-up of this, but this is a 28mm Nikkor automatic f2.8 lens. So this, I've put a 3D printed gear on the front, and then you can mount the M42 screw to EF or PL. PL's a bit tricky actually, which I found out recently. You have to really make sure that the diameters are right for it. But anyway, this would be your basic Cine mod, which is putting the follow focus gears on your lens. Now when you put the follow focus gears on your lens, obviously you can then connect to your follow focus. So you can have a focus puller, or you can use like those nucleus things that sit on the side of your rig, which I absolutely hate. I think it's ugly. Anyway, yeah, so that would be like what you start off with, is that lens with just the follow focus gears around it. Now, what you can then do is obviously send them off to a place like TLS or a big rehousing company like GL Optics, etc. Like, these are all great people. They make quality rehousing that is stunning and is obviously like industry standard. However, per lens, you're talking about $6.5 grand plus, depending on what lens it is, what optics you've got going, etc. So somebody like me, I can't really afford that, because that's like buying another house. What do we do instead? Well, we find a place called Cinehousing, which I actually found scrolling through eBay like I do, because I am always on eBay. And I found Cinehousing. They were rehousing the Helios 58mm, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So I messaged them and I was like, could you do other lenses? And he said yes, and I was like, okay, now this is interesting. So I then got the set of Nikkors, I then sent them off and then got them back, and then they were rehoused and they look beautiful. I've done a whole conversation and talk about these lenses before, so I'm not going to go into like the nitty gritty stuff, because I'll put that in the description below. But what we are going to talk about is imagery and how pretty these lenses are. I should probably get these lenses out. Let's do that. Okay, so we're talking lenses. Here they are. So in front of me, I've got the three lenses. I've got my 24 f2.8. I've got the 35, which is an f2. Woo! And then we've got the 50, which is an f1.4. Now, the 24, generally I'll use them for doing kind of like your wider scenes and that sort of thing. So we're not really in the aspect of going close, because that's when we'll go to like the 35 or the 50. But it's still really pretty, and you do kind of like get those elements where the flaring's really nice, or just the bokeh if the subject's kind of like quite close is really good. Now going on to the 35, you're at f2, so you do get quite a lot of depth of field here. It is stunning field. All the bokeh basically is gorgeous. You can see like the rings round it, and I quite like that, even though a lot of people don't. I do. I just think it's pretty, and kind of like when you come to the side, you get it kind of goes into those cat's eyes, which is cute. And then the 50 f1.4 also is gorgeous. I think generally coming out of this video, I just want you to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I should probably stop overthinking about buying lenses and worrying about how much it's doing because somebody said this, because it doesn't matter. None of it actually matters unless you like it and you like the look and you can shoot with it confidently. But the Nikkors themselves are just gorgeous, and I've absolutely fallen in love with them, using them over the last year and a half or so. I've shot several films on them. We did Not Bad in 23. They were that was the first narrative project that was shot on this, and that was kind of like having contradictions of being an anamorphic, and then we go to these, and you still had all the character of like the anamorphic lenses, but without any of the flaring, and we could go close, and obviously it's spherical, so it's slightly different, and that was all to switch up from being in anamorphic mode where everything feels dreamy and you're kind of like recollecting memories, so it's in your head. So that kind of like had and needed that kind of like extra flair. But then we come into real life and we back on spherical, but I thought, and also want the image to have texture and to have character. So we had Not Bad, we had Blur Dud, which was a Revenant style kind of film. So on that we were really on the 24 and 35. We'd come to the 50 on the odd shot, but our main two were the 24 and 35, just because we wanted that Revenant style of being a lot wider and having the subject closer to camera, but with more environment to see behind him. After that we had Strangers. Now these lenses just shone like no other on that film. They looked gorgeous. I think we were predominantly actually on the 35 and 50 just to get a lot of depth and stuff and separation, but it was a very artsy film, and kind of we spent a lot of time, and Ollie the DP spent a lot of time just setting that composition and making it look pretty, because I think for the story itself it just required those moments where you could just enjoy and appreciate how the scene is and how it all looks. And we were basically just wide open the whole time, stopping up on the ND and all that sort of stuff, because they just look gorgeous. And the film, I wanted a lot of texture. I wanted you to feel kind of like as though you were watching like Sex Education from Netflix. That's the second time I quoted it in the video, but it just looks pretty, and it's nice to have that texture in an image that you don't always get. Those are my examples of films that have been shot on the lenses. I think from just personal stuff, and to try and summarize the bits that I've kind of like said, is don't overthink your lens choices, and kind of like choose them based on what you'd prefer, what you like the look of. Don't worry about kind of like searching on the internet, oh, I need to go and see the charts and see how much Ware there is or how much CA there is in this lens. Unless you're obviously going for the clinical look and you need that clean image, fine. But if you're somebody like me who wants texture, you want the image to just look pretty and just breathe and have its own, be its own character, I think these lenses are perfect for that. And obviously you've got the Helios and those sorts of ones as well, like the Soviet era lenses, which are also gorgeous. It's kind of like just a case of build your collection based on you, not what other people are telling you. Just don't overthink it and get the lenses that you love. But I love these lenses. These Nikkors are beautiful. I'd love to one day get them rehoused to PL, so then they're kind of like completely universal and not on the EF mount. But for now they work and they are gorgeous. So yeah, that is this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's not been too ranty, because I know I can do that sometimes and drag it out and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, this has been one of the first videos of the year. So anyway, thank you very much. Goodbye.